My goodness, 5 minutes goes by really fast. Well, good morning, everyone. Oh, let me kill that volume for a second. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, wherever you may be? I hope you all had a wonderful week. I hope you all will have a wonderful weekend. And to all you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day tomorrow. I'll have to call my mom back in Hawaii tomorrow, and she'll be excited to know that I will be going home next month for the first time in 3 years to visit all the family. Yeah, she's been waiting for this time to come. Yeah, actually, I'll be going home for a specific reason because it is my dad's anniversary since his passing 7 years ago. And in Asian culture, the 7-year mark after someone's passing is a big milestone. So the families tend to get together to have a small celebration and just to as a remembrance. So let's see who's here this morning. We got Kim Burris. Good morning to you. We got Beverly Atkins. Hello, Beverly. Hello, Vicky. Hey, Carissa. And hello to you, Wind Sprinter. And we got Vivian Calvi here. Hello. We also have, let's see. Good afternoon, Nicola Johnson. Milster Morton, good morning. So we got Renee Brown. Hello, everyone from Michigan. Hello, Renee. And good day, Dale Ramsey, all the way from down under. Hello there. Thank you for joining. So, let's see. Well, hello there, Miss Ellen Campbell. And I see the message that my volume is very low, so let's turn it up. Is that better? Yeah, if you guys can let me know if that's any better. I got it up all the way. I don't want it to be I don't want it to be too loud since if people are listening with earphones. Okay, thank you, Linda. And we have Lizette here. Hello. And Polly Lorenz, I see you. Good morning. Dorlyn Dale, hello from Colorado. And around to it, Shirley. Hi, Shirley. Okay, so looks like the sound situation's a little better. I'll have to play with that after this live. Okay. Hello, Ms. Remo J. Good morning to you. And thank you for reminding everybody for the thumbs up. Give myself a thumbs up. Okay. And I forgot to say hello, Linda. Hello, Linda. Thank you for letting me know about the sound. And thank you, everybody, for letting me know about the sound. Just understand that when I look at the screen and when I read the chats, it's all kind of delayed by 30 seconds. So it's a little confusing sometimes when I'm watching the screen and I see the video playing on YouTube. It happened already 30 seconds ago. So it's a little confusing. Yeah, but such is going live. Okay, so, well, good morning, DECP Patty. Okay, good morning, Patty. So, what are we actually going to work on today? Well, let me see if I can get this camera to work. And it does. So this was the sample block that I made. It's I'm calling it the diamond log cabin. I don't know if there's an official name for this, but that's what I call it because it's made in a log cabin style where you start with the center square and you sew strips around and around and around and around until you get to a certain size. Now I'm not going to make this a humongous block. This, I think I'm going to go for, this ends up being a 4.5 by 8.5. Okay, of course, it's your quilt block, so you can make it any size that you want to. But I wanted to actually just kind of keep it a little smaller. You could make this a 12-inch block very, very easily just by adding more and more strips around it. But if you've made a log cabin block, this is not going to be any more difficult or any more different. What's really different is just the angle at which you start off with and the angle at which you're sewing on your strips. Okay. Now I did make a bit of a mistake on this block because for one, I wanted to put the pink in this direction and then the background in this direction, but I ended up putting the pinks in this direction and the background in that direction. Of course, does that really matter? No. Did I really care? No. Is it going to win in a quilt award? Probably not, but do I really care? Of course not. I just have fun making this block. So the other mistake that I did do was like here, I was actually supposed to sew another white strip here, but I ended it a little too early. So we'll see how it turns out today and see what kind of mistakes I make today. Advance warning, if I do make a mistake, I'm sorry. Okay, so now when you make your block, you can do, I chose to actually just work with 2 strips, well, 2 colors mainly, and then the red in the center. You can make it as multicolored as you want. I was about to say multicultured. Yeah, that's not a good thing. But you can make it with as many colors as you want, or you can just keep it simple like how I did and just make it with 3 colors. That choice is yours. Now, for the corners, you will need, I've used a 5-inch square of a background. You will need that. It's just cut in diagonally in half. So you are going to need 1 square of some kind of 5-inch square of some kind of fabric to make it so that you get like a nice size block instead of just that diamond shape to just kind of finish it off. So that's the other part that you will need. Okay. So, beautiful pink. Yes, it is a beautiful pink, and I got yards and yards of this pink, so I need to use some of it up. So all of these are all 1.5-inch squares, or sorry, 1.5-inch strips. And I'm going to use this purple instead of a red this time. And again, here's my 5-inch square. Okay. And that's right, mistakes is just creative energy that leaked out of it. That's a good way to put it, Lisa. Polly Loren says, no blood clot was found in my heart, but my CHF has worsened. Throat is very sore, yet I am very tired today. Well, sorry to hear that, Polly. I hope you do feel better. Prayers for Polly, everyone. It's never a fun thing to hear about someone who's suffering from illness or just suffering in general. But that's why you have all of us to help lift you up. And that's why you have quilting, so that you can have something enjoyable in life. Right? Right. Okay, so again, all of these strips that I'm using the same pink, and I'm using a different white strip. I don't know if the camera can pick up on it, but it has like a little bit of a white on white print, which I thought was actually very interesting. So it's not, oh, there you go. It's not, it's not a plain white. There is some interest on this fabric, as well as with this white there. Okay, and then this purple, I need to use up this purple. I thought I was done with it, but then I found a couple more yards of it. So this purple we're going to use as our center. Okay, so let's get the center cut done. Put these aside for a second. If you make a mistake, that means it's an original. That's exactly right, Dale. Okay, so what I am going to do here is I'm going to cut a diamond shape off of this purple 1.5 inch strip. And how I'm going to do that, there's a number of different ways that you can cut diamond shapes from strips. But what I'm doing here is there's a 45-degree line here. And I am just lining up the edge of the fabric on that 45-degree line. And what I'm specifically also doing, let me see if this will work. Ooh, it did work. Okay. So right at one of the points here, I'm actually lining up that point, first of all, on the 45-degree line that's on the mat. And I'm also lining it with the vertical line on the mat here. And I'm going to cut right through that point vertically. Okay, so let's move this. And we'll cut that. Put that back. And this does not have to be a perfect. This is actually a very forgiving block, as I've seen. Proof Quilter says mistakes are called creative challenges. Okay, I think we all have names for mistakes that we do. Some of them are very creative. They're never called mistakes. They're just called, well, I like to call them creative opportunities myself. Okay, so we did our first cut. Again, lining up the edge of the fabric right on that 45-degree line, making sure our point is on one of the vertical lines. We cut through it. That's the first cut of the diamond. Then using my ruler, I'm going to measure 1.5 inches away from the cut that I just made. There we go. And now we have a diamond shape that is 1.5 inches. Now, whatever size strip that you use, this is just for instructions just in general. Whatever size strip that you use, you want to start off with, if you want to make a diamond shape, just when you cut it or cut the width of it, whatever size strip that you use, that's the width that you should go with to make this diamond shape. So if you have a 1.5 inch strip, you'll measure it over 1.5 inches and make your cut there. I hope that made sense because it's a bit early for me in the morning. Yes, it is a very gorgeous purple, I will say. Okay. Now these pink strips and the white. Do I have my machine on? Yes. Okay. So if you want to figure out the math, you can actually subcut your strips to certain sizes. I wasn't going to do that. I figure we'll keep this block simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my center diamond and I'll start with the background print, or the white, whatever you would consider the background. I'm just going to sew it right sides together, 1/4 inch seam. Okay, now you do want to be careful, because one thing you have to be aware of is the angles in which, if I'm sewing it, let's see, I'll start with this side here. Okay. Well, maybe I'll sew this together and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So right sides together, let's start sewing. Let's see, let me switch it back to that so you can kind of see the sewing machine, sort of. So does anyone have any plans for Mother's Day tomorrow? Of course, my mother's not, well, I shouldn't say she's not here. She's not in Los Angeles where I am. Of course, she's back home in Hawaii. And if you didn't hear me, I am planning on going back home next month in early June to visit family, and this will be the first time I'm seeing them in almost, oh gosh, since before the pandemic, actually. Okay, so we got it sewn. I'm just finger pressing it back. Actually, I'll finger press it back towards the background, or towards the strip, so away from the center. Okay. And it looks tiny, Dale, but I mean, even though it is small, it's 1.5 inches, but the more, or as you start sewing, it'll grow and grow and grow, and it's going to grow really fast too. So I'm just finger pressing the seam allowance back towards the background strip there, and then I'll take my ruler and I'm going to match it, sorry, and I'm going to trim down the strip. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to put the edge of the ruler right on the edge of the fabric and just use that as a template as to where I can cut the fabric. And so this is where I want to warn you to be a little bit careful, because if you do, say for example, as soon as you take it off the machine, if you slice or cut the fabric a little too short, okay, you got to remember that you're going to be following the angle of the diamond, in which you're going to need a lot of excess, or more of the excess and overhang than you really think. So just be aware of that. If you cut it right here, or if you cut the strip right there, when you go to trim it down, you're going to be having a big hole right there. So yeah, just be aware of that. Maybe you don't want to cut, well, you do have to cut the strip before you trim it in some cases. So again, that's something I'm going to be reminding you throughout this whole video, because how many times have I cut the strip a little too short? Okay, and this little scrap. Oh, I didn't realize I was recording. I thought it was just, okay. Sorry about that. I didn't realize the camera was recording something. Huh. This little scrap is going to go in my crumb bin for a future block of some sort. Okay, so that's what we got so far. And what I did was I just sewed the strip on, pressed the seam allowance towards the background here. And then I trimmed it so that the strip will then, or I used that center diamond as like a template or a guide to trim off the excess from that strip. Remo J says she'll be making a yellow cake with caramel frosting from scratch. Save me a piece, Remo. Even though I'm not supposed to be eating cake, I'm going to eat it anyway. Because I can have my cake and eat it too. Okay, you know what, I'm just going to trim that little point off. Oh, well, actually. Okay, so we did that point there. Let's switch to the pink. And we'll do the same thing, except we're going to sew the pink on this edge here. So, like that. Okay, and the other warning I do have for you is to make sure that you're sewing it on the right edge. So, I always double check if that is really the edge that I want it to go on. And, yep, is that right? Yeah, because I'm going to sew the white strip here. So I'm going to sew the pink and the pink there. Yep, that's right. Okay, so right sides together. And we're just going to sew it on that edge there. If you have a thread cutter on your machine, well, you're in luck because that'll be a wonderful thing to have. It's just that on my machine, I don't have one, so I'll be sewing some 4 patches at the same time for a different project that I got going on. Use that as my leader and my ender. That. That's great, Eric. You can't beat sewing with family. Yep, you can't beat that. Okay. So, okay, we got our first issue here because I think, yeah. So, issue being that, you know, when I trim the fabric from here, going that way, yeah, I didn't leave enough overhang here on the top. So, is that going to be enough? Well, no, I'll just resew it. Okay, where's Jack? So, mistake number 1. Again, so what I really should have done was actually started sewing probably down here, but I started a little too high and a little too close to the edge, so that if I were to trim this, I'm going to actually have a big gaping hole somewhere up here, and that's not enough fabric to actually make it a full complete block. So just be aware of your angles. Again, if you want to make sure, just take a ruler, or yeah, just take a ruler against the edge that you're going to use when you trim it off, and you can see how much you're going to need, in which I need to go down about a whole inch or so, so probably right there. And good thing I have Jack ready because here we go ripping. Well, better for me to catch it so that to save you guys the frustration when you make your block. So, and it gives me a little bit more time to chat with you all. So let's see what people are saying. Can't beat seeing family. I think I read that. So Remo's gonna be enjoying family tomorrow, especially mom. She will just have a late Mother's Day. Hello, Pieces Quilting and Love. Thank you for joining us this morning or this afternoon, wherever you may be. Or Pieces, Love, and Quilting. Okay, gotta remember that. So I already made my first mistake. Okay, here we go. No, I didn't. So, okay, and we'll just rip that. Is that enough? No, I didn't grab. Okay, sometimes I like to just rip the fabrics apart, and sometimes you see me picking stitches. I'll do it either way. In this case, I don't want to just rip the fabrics apart because we are working on the bias here, and so there's a lot of stretch to this, and if I start ripping seams like this apart instead of picking at it, yeah, I'm going to start stretching out my pieces here. Yeah, no fun ripping. Actually, sometimes I can kind of find picking out stitches to be a little relaxing. Yeah, call me weird, but I'm not going to be picking out anybody else's stitches, so don't even go there. Whoop. Didn't grab this one here. Got it. Okay. Come on, come apart. Oh gosh. There we go. And I can take all of this fuzzies out. Okay, so got that unstitched. Okay, so now when we sew this back together, let's see if we're gonna, oh, didn't pull that string out. Let's get that one, let's get that one. Okay, so I'm gonna start then, let's see, I'm gonna have to go, is that far enough? That seems to be far enough. So I'm gonna go start it from here. Okay, now we can sew, try it again. Raise the needle. Let's see how this one turned out. Okay, I'll cut that. And also another two 2.5-inch squares. Again, I'm just actually sewing these 2.5-inch squares because again, this machine doesn't have a thread cutter of any sort. So I do have to chain in something else, or sometimes I'll just sew on a piece of scrap. Okay. Then finger pressing toward the strip. Let me use Woody here in this case. Hello, Emily. Thank you for joining. Hello, Crystal Lewis. Okay. So now I can, again, I'm going to use that Cinder purple as my template, and I'm going to trim it, lining up the edge. Actually, let me trim that little thread that went astray. Trim that off. Turn it around. And this time, I'm going to use the white strip as my guide, lining up the edge of the ruler with the edge of that white strip, and I'm going to trim that off. So we got a pretty cool looking shape now. It's a bigger diamond. So we're gonna put, let's see, another pink strip on this side. Okay, then again, making sure to measure. I'm gonna put the edge of the ruler right there on this pink strip to make sure that I'll have enough overhang on the top here to make the diamond shape. And then on the bottom side here, notice that it's angling up. So even if I do cut it mistakenly right here at the edge, I don't need to have any excess overhang on this side, so I'll be okay. So I think that's all right. So I'm gonna put these two right sides together, and we'll sew on that side. Hello, Joyce Jordan, and hello, Joyce Hernandez. The two Joyces. So Dale's asking, what's everybody's favorite mom's movie? Favorite mom movie? And he says that he likes Stepmom. I don't think I ever saw that movie. Stepmom. Okay, so I'm just, again, you can ignore this floor patch because it's not really part of the block. I'm just using it as sort of like a leader and ender project so that I'm not wasting so much thread. Favorite mom movie. Okay, and then finger pressing it back again. Favorite mom movie. I don't know if I have one. Matilda. Okay, yeah, I do like that movie. I don't know if I would call it a mom movie though. Okay, so finger pressing back again, using the ruler or using the edge of the diamond as my template, and I'm just gonna trim down. Okay, don't get rid of this strip yet. We're not done with it, so I'm just gonna put it aside for now. Then again, using the edge of this fabric, and we're just gonna trim it down again here. And this can go in my crumb bin, which I'll save that for some other time. Well, I can tell you, I don't know if I have a favorite mom movie, but I can tell you there are some movies where I do like watching where it's just all female leads. First one that comes to mind is The First Wives Club. Love that movie. And I especially like the part when they start getting their revenge back. There there's that one, my favorite scene is actually that, call me a masochist, but it's the scene where they all have like the meltdown and they start hitting each other and start slapping each other. I just find that hilarious for some reason. Uh, let's see, there's also strong female leads, the Joy Luck Club. Yeah, I actually did see that movie on Mother's Day for the first time. When I saw it the first time, of course. And I did read the book by Amy Tan. Very, very, very Asian stories. Or how do I say this being in a non-racial way? It's very Asian inspired and typical, I guess, Asian story. Let's see. Can anyone else think of any other movies with a strong female lead? How about... Okay, so going back to our white now. So we're going to sew a white strip on this side of the block. And again, I'm going to use the ruler. So now that the diamond is angling down on this top part, or on this side of it, I don't have to have as much overhang here, but I do have to watch the bottom. So I want to have at least up to here. So if all of this excess of the strip, if it does bother you, you can cut it, but just again make sure that you do have enough. Take the ruler, make sure you do have enough overhang so that you can continue that diamond shape. Okay, this part, the top part, again, because the angle of the diamond is coming in this direction toward the strip, you don't have to worry about how much you leave up here on the top. Oh, Steel Magnolias. Yes. Why didn't I think of that? Thank you, Patty. Love, love, love that movie. In fact, I used to watch that almost every day at one point. Favorite line from that movie? A cup, a cup, a cup. Cup of flour, cup of fukake with the juice. And I forgot what the rest of the recipe was. Love, love, love that movie. There's some classic lines in there that I love. Yes, I love Steel Magnolias. Oh, see, Emily can understand it. Her favorite mom movie is The Joy Luck Club. Never ugly cried so hard in my life. Again, my favorite scene in Steel Magnolias is towards the ending when the daughter passes away and Sally Field's character just has a meltdown. And then Olympia Dukakis says, "Here, punch this." And she's pointing to her sister. Yeah, that'll make you laugh and cry at the same time, if that's even possible. Well, watch that movie, and yeah, it is possible. I love you more than my luggage. Oh, I remember that line. Ooh, The Blind Side. I didn't think of that one. That's a good one, too. Okay, so we got our strip sewn. We're just finger pressing it back. where did I put my ruler? So put the edge of the ruler now on the edge of your block or your growing block here. And we'll trim this part off. Flip it around. And we'll trim this part off here. These can go in the crumb bin. So this is what we got so far. Toss that aside. Now, what I did on mine when I constructed the sample block is once I did a full round of sewing all around the diamond. Up until that point, I'd just been finger pressing the strips back. But now, since I got a full round, or sewed around that center diamond at least one time around, I'm actually going to take this to the iron and just hit it with some heat just so that I can get it a little bit more flat. So that's what I'm going to do here. Okay, so oh, it's a little wavy, so let me just hit it with the iron again. Now be careful when you are ironing this block because all the edges are actually on the bias, so you just want to set the iron down, let it do its thing, not move the iron around. Okay, that looks better. Let's switch the cameras back. Erin Brockovich, only because she is fighting as a mom for the entire town. Yep. You know, I'd like to actually meet the real Erin Brockovich, just because I think she's kind of a strong woman to be. I mean, she saved all those people. What about coat of many colors? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Crystal. Oh, you mean strips of many colors? Yeah, you can do strips of different colors. Of course, that's up to you. I was thinking about doing that. I just said, nah, I was already confusing myself when I made the test block. But you can make it multicolored if you want to. That's perfectly up to you. In fact, I'll be interested to see what that actually looks like. Or is Coat of Many Colors an actual movie? Maybe I misread that. We are hitting a lot of Julia Roberts, Sally Field, and Sandra Bullock movies. Yeah. Well, they're great actresses too, so I mean, not that I would blame anybody for liking any of their movies. Oh, I think I didn't press that good, so I do see a little sliver there. Okay. Yep. Okay, so starting off again, going back to our white strip. So let's see, we started off here, went around, ended here, so we need another white strip on this side. Where did I put the white strip? Oh, here it is. Okay. So again, it's hard to tell which is the back and which is the right side. I think it's this one, this way. My late mom's favorite movie was Cats. Oh, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Okay, her best friend died while she was watching The Color Purple. Oh, that's such a sad movie too. But sorry to hear that she passed away, or your mom's friend passed away. But I do love The Color Purple, and I love Oprah's character, Miss Sophia. Okay. Then I want to make sure that I have enough overhang here at the bottom because the angle of the diamond comes down this way. So if I cut it here, that should be enough. And on the top side, I don't have to worry because the angle of the diamond comes down towards this direction. So as long as I start there, I'll be okay. So we'll put this right sides together and we'll start sewing. Just gonna finger press this. I got a 2-patch now. I'm just gonna grab another square. So we're gonna finger press this one back. Use Woody. Then I can take this, I'll trim that. Turn that around. And we'll trim that side. Okay. It happens. They both had good long lives. Alzheimer's isn't a good way to go. No, it's not. It's actually very sad. In fact, my grandmother, in her advanced age, she was kind of I hate to say this, but she was a walking vegetable towards the end of her life. And we were telling my aunts to just let go of her because she was suffering a lot. But my aunts weren't ready to say goodbye, and so they kept prolonging her life. But I kind of think that at that point, when you start to really see someone just deteriorate at that point, you should just let them go. But, they made the decision to keep prolonging her. So, yeah, it was sad to watch that happen, but, yeah. One flew over the cuckoo's nest only because my dad used to call Mom Nurse Ratchet. Going back to my pink strip. Okay, so now notice I keep turning the diamond around, and sometimes it's very easy to lose where you left off. So always remember the center. In this case, the purple is the center. And when I count 1, 2, okay, so this direction has 2 strips. Every other direction has only 1. So that's how, that's a way I can tell where I left off. So my next strip then has to go in this section here, in which, not sure, whoops, what is going on with this camera? Of course, it always happens on a live. I think I just took a picture. Oh well. So here it is, 1, 2. So my next one goes on this side, so I'm going to flip it around. Put my strip, oh wait, let me measure first because I want to make sure that I have enough. So, which somewhere around here I can chop this off. And again, the top part, I don't have to worry because the angle of the diamond is coming down. So I can sew this right sides together. Just gonna finger press this quick, or make this quick 4-patch here. So here's a question I want to ask everyone, because we are coming towards the end of our 52 blocks. This is block 41, so we got 11 more to go. And there's been a lot of people that have been asking, okay, so what's next? And I kind of I've been kind of thinking about that since the beginning of the year, actually. Okay, so I'm finger pressing again toward the strip. And so there's been a lot of comments about what's next or what's coming up. I do have I was thinking, do I want to do another 52 blocks? And I thought, no. But I do want to keep a series of something similar, but maybe not every single week. And I was kind of thinking, let's do a short one, just maybe like a 5-month, block of the month type of thing. So what I was kind of thinking about doing is starting in July or maybe early August sometime, is we'll just start a block of the month where it's just going to be five months long. Maybe we'll do a Christmas type of wall hanging so that we'll end it in November, so to give you a little bit of time to actually complete the project and get it all quilted. But it's not going to be like a major, it'll be a wall hanging size. And it's going to just be 5 different blocks. I'm thinking about turning it into some kind of an advent calendar sort of project so that you can give it away as a Christmas gift, or you can make it as a decoration for yourself. But in terms of other than that, I don't know. I'm having some other thoughts about what to do, but what would you guys like to see? Okay, this strip is a little too small. I think I grabbed a scrap. Yeah, this was the actual strip that I needed to use. Okay, so there we go. So counting from the center, 1, 2, okay, that's good. 1, 2, we just did that piece, so we need to sew on this side here. Both my parents died from it. I just learned a lot not to argue, agree, and redirect their attention. They're in a better place now. They come to me in my dreams along with my sister. That's a big comfort. Oh, that's encouraging to hear, Patty. But sad that both of them died that way. Oh. Well, what am I doing picking up that stitch? I can just cut that one off. Okay. So we're going to be sewing on to this side here. And the angle that we need to watch out for is the top, because that angles upward. So I want to make sure that I have enough overhang on that direction, in which I'll lay the ruler down. Yeah, that should be good. Then on the bottom half, we don't have to worry so much because it angles upward. So if I trim it off here, that should be good. What about one of those bed runners? That's an interesting thought, Dale. We could be doing a project next year with that, where you could turn it into a bed runner. Bed runner. Okay, so I'm gonna confuse myself a little bit and flip this over so I can actually sew it this way instead. And I'll just sew off on a little piece of scrap here. Sarah J. Hello, Sarah J. Didn't see you come in. Now I know why the square log cabin is more common. Yeah, the diamond shape can be a little bit more confusing, but it's not any more difficult to do. As long as you keep yourself organized, you'll be okay. Once you give it a try, then you'll kind of know what you figure out as to what things you need to look out for. Okay, so pressing back again, and we'll trim using that angle, and I'll flip this around, and we'll trim, trim this off there, scraps. Remo J, you got your sewing mojo back. You go, girl. You get that mojo and you start sewing. Okay, where did I leave off? So I got, let's see, 2 in this direction, 2 in that direction, 2 in that direction. Okay, so one last strip is the white strip. Oh, I got this scrap here. Okay, it's not the exact same white fabric, but it's the leftover from when I did my test. And I'm thinking I'm going to use it for now. Or do I want to go matchy-matchy? And no, let's use this. Okay, so, oh, wait. Making sure I have enough overhang. So it'll be somewhere around here. That'll be good. Actually, I can even pull this down. There. Maybe I can make a 1.5 inch square out of this. Yeah, put this to the side. Hey, Nancy Gus. Happy Mother's Day. I often figure out a tricky block by the time I have made it several, many blocks Oh, okay. So she makes a lot of Sarah J is saying that she makes a lot of sample blocks. And by the time she gets a few of them, she can figure it out. Okay. Like by the time on the very last block, I have it pat down. Yeah. Okay, so we got these right sides together. Here we go, sewing on another strip. And I'll cut that. And let's see, I'll sew on another two. Okay, again, if you're just joining, I'm sewing. The block we're actually making is this guy. I'm just sewing these 2.5-inch squares together as sort of a leader and ender project. Okay, we'll finger press this back. Diamonds are difficult. I did a Lone Star. I started a Lone Star once, and once I started that project, I ended up having to move apartments because my rent went up 25%. Yeah, such is living in Southern California. And so I packed it up, and since then, I never did unpack it. So I gotta find where I put that. There's still some boxes, even 3 years later, that I just kept in the box. And you know what? Those were some very pretty batiks that I used for that project. So yeah, I should go and look for it. Okay, trimming it down. And we will trim this side down. Okay, so counting from the center, you got 1, 2 that direction, 1, 2 in that direction, 1, 2 here, and 1, 2 there. We completed round 2. So for this block, we're only be doing 2 rounds of strips, sewing all around. So you can do more if you want, but just understand you're going to be making a bigger block. So at this point, I'm going to just hit this with the iron to make it lie a little bit more flat because I was only finger pressing them down. But at this point, yep, our diamond is done. So I'm just hitting it with the iron real quick. And again, when you iron it, just set the iron down. Don't move it around because you're on the biased edge here. Okay. And here is what we got. Okay, so we started off with this little teeny tiny piece, which was a 1.5-inch diamond. And now the block kind of grew on us. So this will be, whoa, this is going to be a big block now. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be about a 12-inch block here. Maybe even more. We'll see. Okay, so the diamond is done. And actually now that we actually got a full 2 rounds, this 5-inch square is not going to work. Now, when I did my test, the 5-inch square did in fact work because I didn't do a full 2 rounds. Should have known that. Okay, so instead of a 5-inch square, we're gonna need, let's see, a square that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make it 6.5. Okay, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna cut a 6.5-inch square. Okay, fortunately I do have some fabric that I could use for this. Whoops. See, good thing that I'm making the mistake for you. So I'm gonna just cut a 6.5-inch square. You only need one. Okay, I'm just gonna trim it like that, trim it there. Okay, so this ruler was a 6.5-inch ruler or square ruler, and I just cut a 6.5-inch square off of that. Let's see if that's going to be big enough. In which I'm going to take one of these diagonal points. Oh yeah, that's way big, so that'll be good. Okay, now I'm going to take that 6.5-inch square. Is this ruler big enough to do that? No. And I'm going to take a bigger ruler, and we're going to cut it in half diagonally here, from corner to corner, and we'll just cut it right in half. I don't like using this big ruler, especially at this table, because it's so big and bulky, and I tend to knock stuff down when I do. Okay. Now, we're just using these triangles to just kind of square off the block here. So I'm going to put it here on this edge and put it here on this edge. We'll put it right sides together. You can, if you want to, you can kind of find the middle, or you do that technique where you fold it in half and then fold the diamond in half here and then match up the middle points. You can do that technique. I just eyeball it. Since I know I cut these two triangles way oversized, I know that I don't necessarily have to do that, because I can just kind of, there's a lot of overhang in which then I know I can trim it down later. But if you want to, again, you can match up the center points by folding the diamond in half. But at this point for me, I'm not going to do that because I know I got a lot of extra overhang. And because we are sewing on the bias now, just try not to stretch your fabrics so much. There we go. And I'll cut this off. Do I have another? Yep, I do. we'll sew off on another square here. Okay, we'll finger press this back. Now I can trim this off. Yep. Trim that edge down. And I can trim this edge down. And we got half of it done. Now to sew on the last piece. Again, I'm not going to bother finding the center. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it at this point, since I know I got a lot of excess here. And we're sewing on the bias, so try not to stretch. Finger press this. We'll sew another 4-patch. Okay. Finger pressing that back. Okay, I'm just trying not to stretch the fabric because, again, this is the bias here, so. And trim this down. So that, oh, can I grab it? There we go. We'll trim this off. Now the other thing I should do is actually trim the edges off here and straighten that out. And then flip this around. Trim off the edge there, or straighten that out. And voila, here we have our block. So this is now measuring, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 by, oh wait, no, 6.25 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. So 13 by 6.5 or 6.25. Let me actually, if I square it down, I would probably get a different measurement. Okay, yep, this is totally off. So let's actually square this down So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at my 45-degree line here on the ruler, just making sure that it matches to this seam there, as well as taking a look at the fabric edge there at the top that I squared off. Okay, and then we're just making sure that I got the edge of the fabric here lined off. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Trim that side, and then again. Yeah, trim that. Okay, so this, let's see, this ruler says it's about 5.5 by 5.5 by about 12.5, or 12 and 3/4. Okay, so if you're around in that ballpark area, you're good to go. And that is our block. I think this is the largest block in terms of length. I didn't plan for it to be this large, but well, you make certain mistakes along the way, but you learn to live with them. So yeah. Now, the big difference between my sample and the actual block is the fact that on my sample I didn't do a full 2 rounds of strips here, which is why it came out a lot smaller. But as you can kind of see, when you add more strips, the block can actually grow exponentially. So be careful of how many strips that you want to add, because again, it's going to grow real fast. Okay. Now, again, play around with different colored strips because that can make the block a lot more interesting. I just decided to use just 4 different fabrics of this background, this white background, and this pink. But you know, I've seen people do this block where it's just all, make it really scrappy and make it all different colored strips here. I've seen people where they just do it all in one color but varying, varying hues or varying darknesses or varying values. That's the word I was looking for. So play around with this block, have fun with it. Okay. And I can't wait to see what you guys create with this. Okay. So there you have it. Looks difficult, but it's actually very, very simple to do once you understand the concept of how to do it. All right, well, that is it to constructing this block. I'm just going to press this, and I'm going to kind of straighten out the edges a little bit, but again, the final dimensions, it's about 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about 5.5 by, let's see what this ruler says. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 and 3/4. So again, if you're around that area, you're pretty good. Now I might square this down. Well, I shouldn't say I might. I will probably square this down to 12.5 inches long by an exact 5.5. Yeah, I think that'll be a better measurement overall. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for waking up so early or joining me on this very early live session. Says Dale, you make a perfect diamond, Eric. Well, thank you. Says, all right, well, have a wonderful weekend, or have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. And I shall see you guys next time. Mwah. Bye for now.